And next up, we have retired career firefighter, paramedic, Jason Neal from Warren. Thank you, Jason, and his son.
You just gonna stand there. Just like that. Hands, please. Thank you. Thank you for having me here. Amy, I feel this is a pleasure for me to share my story and a privilege. So thank you. It's a little disappointing that we don't have more in the legislature, but it's certainly understandable given the day that they've had. So thank you for coming down. It sounds like it. It sounds like it. So yes, I am a retired firefighter, paramedic, career firefighter. I'm still a volunteer firefighter in my community, which I'm very proud to represent. My story revolves around the fact of me leaving the career that I loved, my passion, my career that I fought for, that I went to school for, that I learned, that I got the bumps and bruises for, that I realized that I would put my life on the line to save anyone in this room. That's what firefighters do. That's what first responders do. But my story came to an abrupt end after 15 years career, and I had prior years as a volunteer firefighter before that. And in the time of the pandemic, I was on a first due ambulance in the greater Chittenden County. And to be honest, it was scary. It scared the hell out of me every day to go to work, and not to fight the fires, and not to go in to all the other car accidents we go to, and not to deal with the heart attacks. And as Emily said, the suicides, because who dealt with the suicides? The firefighters did. The EMS did. We were the ones. And in the same time, we were being given policies that were drafted and by our administration within the firehouse. And I do believe they were doing the best they could with what they had. They were trying to protect us, the frontline workers. And I have compassion for that, because I wouldn't have wanted to been the chief of a firehouse during COVID. That's not where I wanted to be. I wanted to be on the front line. I wanted to be the one going in there. But our protocols, statewide EMS protocols, are very detailed. So we had to maintain those protocols. And every day our policies were changing, every single day. So I was scared. I was scared to go to work, to maintain my job so I wouldn't get fired, so I could feed my family, so I could still provide for the community and show up and fight the fires. And now have to deal with this scary COVID-19 virus that was going around that was going to kill everybody, as far as what we were told. So the disappointing thing that I see in retrospect is that at the time, I chose not to vaccinate. We chose not to vaccinate. My wife and I, we thought long and hard about it. We chose not to, and we stand by the decision. We believe that was the right choice for us, but I'm not going to tell anyone else what to do. And for me, that is the basis of what we should be doing. You know, don't tell me what to do with my body, right? So one of the policies that we particularly had within the firehouse was that if an individual was not vaccinated and they were to be in the firehouse, well, you had to wear a mask. Okay. But if another individual was vaccinated, they didn't have to wear a mask. And in the same setting, 3 times a day as a career firefighter, we sit down at a table 2 feet away from each other and share a meal, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So then I can take the mask off and we can laugh and joke and discuss the calls we went on, discuss the suicides, discuss the funny things that happen, make those jokes. No. People are making the policies without even the basic concept of gene theory. As you mentioned, that the mask, a surgical mask, will not protect most viruses. So as a healthcare provider on the front lines, I scoffed about it, but I was worried for my family. I had to show up every day to that, and my partners did. And we showed up and we were proud to do it at the time. We were glad we were there helping our community, and we always will be. That's why people get into the emergency service. In my last day at the firehouse, I was washing the dishes, and one of the higher ups comes up and says, "Jason, where's your mask?" Washing the dishes because I'm trying to catch up on the day. I said, "Sir, I'm not wearing one." He says, "Are you objecting to me?" I said, "No, sir, I'm objecting to the policy." He said, "Well, then you have to go." My career came to a dead stop in that day as a career firefighter, and that was hard. And it's taken me years to unpack that, to go back to those wounds, and to realize, do I want us to help my community? Do I still want to use my skills to help my neighbor? Even the people that were calling me this terrible thing, "You're unvaccinated, you're hurting people." No, I don't believe I was, but I'm still showing up. And that's what firefighters did. In a lot of the policies, I truly believe were fear-driven. It's a human nature to fear. That's a good thing. That's why we don't stand too close to the edge. That's why we don't go running out into traffic. We fear. That's good. We should fear. But human nature also is to fear when we don't understand. We didn't understand what was going on. A lot of people were misinformed. And because of that, they feared. Of course they feared for their life. We all fear for our lives. That's human. That's what we do. That's what protects us. But unfortunately, it got manipulated to the point that we all saw. And it came down to policy. And someone else spoke about the religious exemptions we would have to check the box on to satisfy whomever it is that we won't get vaccinated. That's still happening. We still have to do that. My daughter has to do that still to attend school. Sorry, but that's bullshit. You know, it's my choice, it's my autonomy. That's our choice as citizens, as parents, as anybody in this country. And the other thing, Amy, you had mentioned do no harm. Do no harm, yes, that's an oath we as healthcare providers take. Do no harm. That's the basis of it. Well, did we do harm? I think that's part of what we're here for, is to talk about. But along those lines of do no harm is, I assume nobody in here has fought a significant fire. Or maybe you have, doesn't matter. Would you put gasoline on fire to put it out? No, of course not. Of course not, because you don't have to do that. So do no harm, I mean at the basic level, right? So one of the things I'd also like to mention is Chief Doug Brent. He's a wonderful fire chief. He's been a fire chief in many communities throughout this state. Bellows Falls, Springfield, Barry, South Burlington. I had the privilege of working for Doug Brent. I'm going to wrap it up real quick. And what I think we need to do is not critique the past. Because in a fire, after we have a big fire, a big incident, we used to call it, we're going to have a fire critique. What Chief Brent said is we don't call it a critique anymore. We call it a post-incident review. Because critique is based in criticism. We shouldn't look to point fingers. What we do now in the post-incident review is we say, what did we do well? What can we do better next time? That's what I would say. Because for me, I don't represent the left. I don't represent the right. I represent the truth. I want to know the truth.